Hi everyone, it's Desiree and I am here with Spellbinders and we are going to have some fun and let's play with the recent release of the Stained Glass Bouquet by Becca Feeken. So these are a lot of fun. So you get these background images that are so versatile. Here I have the Believe Me, and then I also have the Sweet Rondeur. I believe that's how I say that. So let's get right into our project. So I created that circle and I cut it 6 times. Die cut that image. I layered 5 of them. I've cut a piece of vellum and I'm going to put that now. It's going to actually be on the top. We're going to make a shaker when it comes to this. But because of the images and having this stained glass look, I didn't want the shaker bits to be the primary focus. Your eye would automatically be drawn into that. So by using the vellum, kind of pushes it to the back. Once I have that vellum piece on, I'm then going to add another layer on top of that. So this vellum is now sandwiched in between the top 2 layers of this image. And it's very easy to line up. I wasn't worried about, yes, glue did seep out a little bit, but we're all good. Let's go with it. So I flipped it over and I'm going to use my tweezers and then said, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. And then just use my fingers and just put a little bit in. So I need to be specific where I'm putting these because I didn't want it to be overrun. I didn't want it to be too full. You know, when we create a shaker, we want to hear it shake. You know, we want to hear that. Yes, I felt the need to make that sound. So I want to make sure that you'll know that there's something in there, but that they will have that movement as well. I do have another piece. Now, the beauty of cutting these pieces out is you have the outline die, and then you have the design die that can be taken out so that you just get the solid piece, like I did with the vellum. I also cut a piece like that out as I did the vellum with a piece of white cardstock. And I'm going to come in with some dye ink to just put some shades of blue back there so that we don't have this white coming through. Because again, I'm going for a shaker. I want people to know that there's bits in there. I want them to know that they're blue. But again, I don't want them to turn into the focal point. And sometimes it can happen. You know, you've got all this beautiful glitter and shimmer going on and your eye's just going to go there. I did not want to take anything away from these florals and leaves that we're going to do in a stained glass technique. And basically we're going to be using an inlay die cutting technique to get this effect. So you can see I'm just putting my dye ink on. I'm heavy in the center because I don't care what that looks like. I just want this faint hue in the background. And you can see those bits, and with that blue back there, you can still see them. It's not as bright. You can see that design in the dye. So it all went pretty well together the way that I was hoping. You know, sometimes I get these ideas in my head and I'm like, okay, let's go. And I just start filming. I don't plan it out, so to speak. But yeah. So I've added some double-sided foam tape. I have a frame of the Spellbinders gold mirror. I made sure to cut out the center because I am in love with their mirror cardstock. I love the fact that it's double-sided. I don't know why. I just do. I really like the fact that it does, or it is that way. So now I'm going to take my piece, and that's just going to be set right on top. Now, my sentiment is coming from one of their stamp sets, and it's simply called Clear Stamps. So you get these 3 beautiful words, happy, awesome, and I forget what the other one is. And then you can add sentiments to it. So you can build your own with it, and I think it's really versatile. So I put that onto an oval cutout, and then I stamped the birthday on a piece of black cardstock just so that that would pop off that page. This die also comes with a beautiful flourish design, and that's where I'm thinking that's going to sit right now, just to frame that piece. So now let's dig into our images. So what I've done is I've cut one of the outline and one of the background. I'm going to take those outline pieces and I'm going to glue them on top of the background. Now, this opens you up to a lot. You could fill that in if you've got your Nuvo drops to put color in there. If you've got a steady hand, I do not. You could watercolor these bases to get your colors because they'll come through when it comes to the openings. You could use your alcohol markers. I know I did that in another video, and that was for Scrappy Tails. To add those shades and to make sure, and you don't have to be neat about it. Again, we don't have to think. It's wonderful. We can get beautiful, beautiful designs by not thinking. Here, I did choose to do the inlay die cutting technique. Now, what I did was when I die cut my pieces, I wasn't worried about the outer line. So I just used that center point with all of the design. And I also used a piece of double-sided sheet. And then what I'm able to do, and when I ran it through my die cutting machine, I ran it through with 2 pieces of cardstock with another piece of cardstock underneath. So it cut through the top, but it didn't cut through the bottom, so it held all the pieces together. Now again, I did not remove the release paper. So I'm actually I'm using my Spellbinders tweezers, and they have an awesome point for this to get into that crevice so that I can pull that piece out and then inset it into the piece where I want it to go. For the leaves, I chose 2 shades of green, and I used the Spellbinders cardstock, which was recently released. It's wonderful cardstock, 100-pound, great weight. And I'm using Rainforest and Peridot. I think that's how you say that, or Peridot. For the roses and the flowers, I'm actually using 3 shades. I'm using the Barely Peach, the Pink Sand, and the Wild Berry. Again, to really pull out that true stained glass look. Now, because I'm using white, the colors are gonna push back. They're going to go softer. And that's what I was looking for this. When you go to a black or a darker shade, you make them bolder. Okay, so whether you want them just slightly pastel or bold and bright, basically it's white or dark cardstock. So it could be a dark blue, it could be a black, it could be a brown. Your lighter cardstocks could be an ivory, could be a white, a pale yellow, pale gray, whatever you're looking. Your colors, you're going to get 2 different effects just by your outline pieces. So test it out and see which way you want to go. By using the darker shade, now you could also use a mirror cardstock, which would be absolutely gorgeous. But look at your cardstock and do like a little tiny test run to say, okay, do I want this bright and bold? Or do I want it soft and push back a little bit? Because again, you'll have those 2 different looks. So you can see I've got my flowers done now. So I've got all my pieces done. I like the look of the 2 colors going in there, kind of pulls out that whole jagged stained glass effect. I did not worry about the stems on my flowers because I knew these were going to be tucked down behind this sentiment. So I didn't want to fiddle with that. So I'm just placing these, I'm tucking these in underneath the sentiment, moving these around. I'm using my liquid adhesive to put these in. I love layering florals like this. It's, like another way for me to collage. The more you collage, that alone adds dimension, adds texture So if you're not a fan of the double-sided foam square or tape or anything like that, you can get some great dimension just by collaging and adding your pieces on top of each other. So it really, really does work. I'm now putting in the flourish pieces, and of course I probably should have done that first, but I want them to follow the line of what the circle is doing. So I'm just going to add some glue, lift that up just a little bit, and then have that last piece sit right in there. So I hope you enjoyed today's project. I am absolutely in love with these dies. I'm finding I'm liking die work more and more. It can give you great results by simply using cardstock. No blending, no none of that, but of course I always pull all of that in. As always, the products that I use will be linked down below, along with a link to the entire collection if you just want to be nosy and see what it has completely. She did a great job. There are some beautiful images there. Also, if you have a question, make sure you leave that down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'll also have links to the blog, the gallery, because we can't get enough of inspiration, by all means, when it comes to our Spellbinders products. Guys, enjoy your day. Smile, laugh, but remember what's most important, and do it just a little bit each day. Always be creative. Till next time, guys. Take care.